Ditch the clocks and deadlines. Time is ours to define. In this world that's all mine, we let our spirit shine. Binging with benefits. Sisters watching flicks. It's the perfect fit. Binging with benefits.
Hey, hi. Hello.
Hey, how's it? How are you?
You know what? Howdy. Heidi ho, neighbor. How's it going?
Heidi ho, neighbor. I love that.
Welcome to Binging with Benefits. I'm Jess.
And I'm Becca.
Speaking of Heidi ho, in my complex, I'm in the parking garage, there's a guy that's parked next to me, and he has a Tesla. And every once in a while, I'll see him. I think maybe I've seen him a handful of times in my time of living here. But, he's just a dude. We see each other. We say hi. The most conversation we had was one time I was pulling up from getting groceries. He was out by his car, but he was crouched by the, tires of his car. He was blowing up his car tires. But every time I see him, he says, "Hi, neighbor." And I just think it's funny because it's I have no idea where this dude lives in the complex, but we're car neighbors. And so he says, "Hi, neighbor," and I just think it's so funny. Anyways, the other day, Becca and my mom were over and I was driving us back from a restaurant we went to. And I don't know if you'll have to tell me if we were getting out of the car or if we were still inside the car when we said this.
I don't remember.
Right? I was telling them about car neighbor and I was saying oh, every time he says hi neighbor, I keep thinking I should say Heidi ho neighbor, from the Tim Allen, the Tool Man, Taylor.
Yes,
because Wilson says that on the show, Home Improvement, right? And we're talking about this and we're laughing and ha 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 ha. And I was like, yeah, next time I see him, I'll say Heidi ho neighbor. The next day, I decided I'm gonna go for a bike ride. So I brought my bike down and I was setting up my bike rack on my car, and he had just pulled in, and he gets out of the car. And he goes, "Heidi ho, neighbor." And I was like, "Hi, wait, did you say Heidi ho, neighbor?" And he says, "Yep." And I said, "That's awesome." And then he laughed and walked away. I was like, do Teslas record conversations? And that's why I'm did we get out of the car, have this conversation? Did he review the recording? And did we say it outside of the car?
Yeah.
And then he's saying he reviewed the recording. He's like, "You know what I'm going to do?"
Yeah, it'd be so funny. Next time I see her.
There's no way it's a coincidence, right? He's in my age range. He might be a little bit older. I have no idea. I literally know nothing about this man other than he drives a Tesla. He's my car neighbor, and he has the same air pump as me for our tires.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
What are the odds? There's no way. He had to have reviewed the recording. This feels like something Becca would do too. If Becca had a Tesla, she would constantly be doing this stuff, I think.
Oh yeah. I'm nosy. I'm who was by my car?
But yeah, so that's car neighbor. So that was but I did go to the bike ride, and that was a lot of fun, and I got, my nice sunburn. I don't know if you can see it on the camera here anymore, but I intended just to be out in the sun for maybe an hour and a half, and then I was out for 3 hours in overcast weather, which we know is sunburn weather.
Yeah. Especially when it's the first of the season that you're out in the sun.
This is how I get my wonderfully tan shoulders that I'm so ready to bring back. I'm way too pasty right now.
I know. I'm so ready for summer. I used to be a winter person.
Oh, winter, not even fall?
Yeah. Well, I liked it when it rained, and when I first moved to Utah, the very first winter, I was like, I love this. I love the snow. I love driving in it. I love all of it. By the second year, I was way over it, but but no, I used to be a winter girly. I used to be really excited for the cozy weather, and now I'm I am so excited for pool days, for beach days, sitting at the lake.
Yes.
I am so ready for days like that, where it's my agenda is wear a swimsuit, check. Eat chips, check.
Eat chips. Swimsuit, chips, and water. That's a big body of water. That's all I need.
Yes. Did I tell you about the time that I took chips to the beach and it ended horribly?
No.
Okay, so this was years ago. But it was a friend of mine and my brother Dallin. We went to the beach. It was like probably this time of year, like March, where it was like not swimming weather, but we were like, we're gonna do it still. Anyway, I was like, I really want chips. I just really want like some good Doritos. Yeah, okay, so I was like, I really want some like really good Doritos. I want like spicy nacho Doritos on the beach.
Oh, okay. She was specific, not even just Doritos, spicy nacho Doritos on the beach.
Yes. So I think like one or two types of bags of chips. Like we're living high. We got we got two kinds of chips, okay?
We're bougie. We've got multiple chips.
We get there and all I can think about is these chips. Like I'm so excited to eat these chips, you guys. It is a whole thing, okay? Anyway, we put our stuff down, we put our chips down on the sand, and then we go to touch the water, and of course it's freezing. By the time we come back, I just see a ton of seagulls. And I'm like,
I knew it.
You have got to be kidding me. You have absolutely got to be kidding me. So we go up, and the seagulls had ripped open both bags of chips.
Look, those seagulls also understood the value of having two different kinds of chips.
Yeah, they did. Because I
gosh.
was livid. I was like screaming at the seagulls, "Get out of here!" I was so mad.
She's like, how dare you touch my chips?
I was looking forward to that. I know. I was like, these are my beach chips, you idiot. Like, anyway, and so the whole day I was just like, oh my gosh, I just really just the simplest thing. I just wanted chips. And I think we ended up, it was like, okay, it's cloudy, it's cold, like we got no chips, let's just go. So on the way home I was like, I am getting chips. So we stopped by to get some chips, and I finally had my chips, but I was so pissed.
Which beach were you at? Because I
Newport.
feel like I was going to say, I feel like there's certain seagull aggressiveness as you go further south.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I actually saw a meme that says like all seagulls are boys because a girl would never do that.
Yes, seriously. A girl would never. A girl would never. I swear, seagulls are menaces. I don't like seagulls. I like crows more than I like seagulls, okay? Like, seagulls are menaces. I think I told you about the time that I was shooting content for a brand during my photography era. This brand needed content at the beach, like they were a beachy type of brand. And so I brought this bag of their macadamia nuts. And I brought this, like, a bunch of their product to the beach one day, and I was, like, setting up shots, and, like, I had set up a shot of a bag sitting on a lifeguard tower, and then I, like, backed up to get the shot. And as I'm photographing, a swarm of seagulls come and grab the freaking bag. I took off after those they're unopened bag of mac nuts, which is like, you know, they're kind of expensive, whatever.
Yeah.
And granted, like, I didn't pay for this. This was like, you know, gifted stuff for me so I could shoot this content. I did get the bags back, but they were pretty close to opening that bag, and I was pissed. And I was just like, it was like one of those early mornings on the beach too, and so there was no one else there, so there's me with like all my photography stuff, this huge bag of food, essentially. I mean, it is food. There were nuts and different kinds of the nuts, and I was like, okay, so I literally had to take all of my stuff with me everywhere, and like I was trying so hard to make sure that I wasn't too far from the bag of the rest of the stuff, because there was one point I like left it a little bit further down, and then I went to go take this thing, and then I saw them getting closer to that. I was like, no. I think this was I think it was Aliso.
Oh,
like that beach. The freaking seagulls at that beach are aggressive. They will come up to you and take the food from your hand, and it pisses me off.
No, seriously. And like you think about the seagulls in San Diego, even worse.
Yeah. Even worse. It's just the further south you get.
Yeah, they're menaces.
They are menaces.
They're menaces to society.
last year when we went to that beach day and we saw that couple's like entire lunch get demolished by the seagulls. And I think we had sent our nephew because we saw them getting close to them, and Wes was he's our resident seagull chaser, and we always just say like, go get him away, and he's like, okay, he'll run after him. And so we're like, oh, they're gonna get that couple's lunch, go. And so he chased after them, but they weighed risk reward, and they took the meal, even though Wes was very close.
Yeah.
Felt so bad.
I know. I was like, I have been there. I lost chips to seagulls.
I lost chips. And it seems like it doesn't matter how well you hide it or what you put under it. They go through your things to find it.
They do.
It's insane.
They're getting too smart because you can't just put a towel over it. They know. No. They'll rip your towel apart.
Yes. Hate seagulls, but we love beach days.
Yes.
I think I don't really love summer a ton just because it's so hot.
Yeah.
And I know I can't complain because we live in Southern California, so it's not like excessive heat, but I'm just like 75 degrees max is my comfortable zone. And I think I get sick of summer after about 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for pumpkin spice lattes, please. And
that's
fall
so funny.
and crisp evenings.
That
after I do all the things that I want to do, like after I've had a couple beach days, a couple pool days, we've had our yearly trip up to the lake. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
I'm good.
Bring on the fall, please.
Yeah.
My sweater
Next.
I know, but we kind of skipped through spring this year.
I know. I was just thinking, like, there's been no rain. I think it rained 2 or 3 times this whole winter. It's crazy.
There was a couple times of rain, but we didn't get any springtime rain.
No.
I like fall, but I also really like springtime because it's just like, I don't know, cute. And we didn't get that this year.
It's cute.
It's cute. I know. I'm like, when does this episode, because spring I think is April 20th, I think is the start of spring equinox. March 20th. Oh, okay. So we are coming up on we've got 4 days till spring from when we're recording this. By the time this comes out, it will actually be spring. It'll been spring for 5 days. So happy spring, everybody.
Yeah, happy spring.
That's so funny. If you're going to the beach, protect your chips.
Yes, protect those chips, man.
Oh my gosh. Are spicy nachos your favorite chip flavor?
Doritos, yeah.
What's your favorite chips period though?
I don't know. I've been cooling on Cheetos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because Becca's a chippies girl. Becca loves some chippies.
Love chips, and I never buy them because I will just eat them.
Why?
Because I'll just eat the whole bag, and I don't want to.
You know, I do the thing you're supposed to do with chips. I eat them.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I've bought very many chips. I know I have some tortilla chips because chips and salsa always.
Yeah,
like
always.
If it's not popcorn, it's chips and salsa. Those are my go-to girl dinners. But I think I also have like maybe some potato chips in there because at one point I was like, oh, I want potato chips and onion dip, but then I never did it.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I need to buy more chips. I need more chips in my life.
You know what's funny? That just reminded me of when I first moved out and I was living with roommates. I was like, oh, I need to get chocolate chips. I need to get flour and sugar and brown sugar and all the things. And they're like, oh, what are you making? And I'm like, nothing. Why? And they're like, well, why are you buying chocolate chips and brown sugar and all that stuff? And I'm like, to have it on hand when I do want cookies.
When I do. Exactly.
Yeah. They were like, you're not making them now? And I'm like, no. But it's so funny because I was like, people don't do that. Like, they're like, oh, I want to make cookies. I'm going to go get the stuff.
Yes.
But, like, we grew up in an ingredient household, so we always had that stuff.
It's a standard thing. Like my first shopping trip getting my place, it was like all the baking flour, sugar, brown sugar, yeast, baking soda, baking powder, cream of tartar. I had no plan to do it, but you know, when I want to do it, I need to have it here. Otherwise, if I leave the house to go to the grocery store to go get the things, there's no chances in hell I'm coming back and making the thing. My activity was going to the grocery store. I'm not making the thing too.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I was like, I need I feel like we always had stuff to make homemade pizza and homemade cookies from scratch at all times.
Yeah. We always had pepperoni in the freezer, which I still do to this day.
Yeah.
We always make sure we have cheese. We always make sure we have ingredients for sauce or some kind of sauce. That's if we're doing jar sauce. Sometimes we pre-make the sauce and freeze the sauce.
Yeah.
No, ingredients for pizza and cookies always.
Always.
I haven't made pizza since I've been in... this isn't a real home.
Me
I haven't
too.
made pizza yet. Thankfully, I have all the ingredients for the pizza dough. I've even got semolina flour and pizza flour. I've got all the baking things.
That's awesome. When I was a nanny in Utah, there was a family that I would nanny for, and I'd open the fridge to make kids lunch or whatever, and I would see different things like a can of biscuits, the Pillsbury biscuits, and they're like, "Oh, let's make biscuits right now," and I'm like, "Isn't that like for something though?" Like, I'm like, "Aren't your parents like saving that for something like a recipe or something?" And they're like, "No," and I'm like, "Are you sure?"
Isn't that funny? Like the things that different people have standard in their house, like the things they always have on stock is so different. Like for us, it was ingredients. For other people, it's like a can of biscuits or, like I'm trying to think what else people keep in there. Like freezer pizza. Oh my gosh. Freezer pizza was never in our house growing up. And as an adult, it was only in my house as like, I don't feel like cooking. So we're making freezer pizza.
Yeah.
It was a save for a specific thing.
Yeah.
We never had biscuits or cinnamon rolls.
No. That was for something.
Yes.
But anyway, I just thought that was so funny. I'm like, this is like, it's funny when you go to other people's houses and you're like, oh, I was an ingredient house.
Yes.
We did not have granola bars at the ready. Like,
no.
We
made our granola. Because we had oats on hand.
Yeah, we had the oats. We had all of the ingredients.
We were an ingredients household, and heaven forbid you wanted a snack.
Yeah.
What were you snacking on? We were snacking on a handful of chocolate chips, croutons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Poor man's nachos, which is just chips and cheese, but only those chips were saved for something. I remember, okay, this is another thing, talking about growing up. When I was a child in the Mackenzie home versus when, the next generation of children in the Mackenzie home, Becca and on, we had to ask permission for pretty much anything. And so I remember one time I came over after I'd moved out, and I think Dallin and Becca were sitting at the kitchen table and they were eating tortilla chips. And my mom wasn't home at this point. And I was like, guys, mom's going to be home in like 20 minutes. I'm meeting her here. You have to put those away. Otherwise she'll find out. And Dallin's like, why? I'm like, what do you mean why? You're not supposed to be eating those. And they're like, no, we're allowed to eat this. I'm like, says who? Since when? Since when are you just allowed to eat whatever you want?
I love how that's whatever you want. It's just the simple pleasure of a tortilla chip.
That was like, okay. But no, like tortilla chips, no. And I think my mom and dad would say it was because they had 5 kids. And if we were allowed to have tortilla chips while all 5 of the kids were in the home, that bag was gone in seconds. Cereal.
Oh, yeah.
Was another thing. That was a special occasion. We were allowed, like we had cereal, but only for Sundays.
Yeah. And then it got to the point where it was pre-poured bowls on the counter because people were pouring way too much.
I forgot about that. We'd wake up on Sunday morning and there were pre-poured bowls. And I remember one morning going out and seeing Burton and Dallin like eye level with the counter trying to figure out which bowl had more.
Yep.
That's how you knew you grew up with siblings, was trying to figure out which of the pre-served options had slightly more than the other.
It's so funny. Oh my god.
Oh my god. I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast before either, but like how our family would eat a box of chocolates, I did not learn until I was like engaged. Was very weird.
Yeah.
It's like we would get boxes of chocolates very randomly. I don't even know how we would get them. But whenever there was a box of chocolates and it wasn't just for my mom, It would sit on the counter, and the way you would eat it is everyone would take a nibble and you put it back in the box for someone else to eat it, for everyone to have a taste of every single one. So I'm engaged at this point, and I'm at my ex's family's home. There's a box of chocolates sitting on the table, and so we're sitting there eating them, and I take a bite of one, and then I put it back. And my I don't remember who said it, but someone was like, Jess, that's disgusting. I was like, what are you talking about? This is, it's so someone else can eat it. And they're like, no, if you take the chocolate, you eat the whole thing. I'm like, does no one else want to try this? Like, what do you mean? I'm like, we only had one more sibling in my family than you guys did. Why did you not do this?
Yeah.
So funny. But I got made fun of in that family for years for the way that I was like, that's how you eat things that you have to share with everybody. You take a nibble and you put it back.
Yeah.
Speaking of sharing, do you want me to share with you a thing that I watched this week?
Yes. Okay. I am so curious about this.
This is something, since we even first started talking about recording the podcast, this was on my list of ideas of things to talk to her about, because I've seen this documentary a couple times at this point now.
Wow.
I think this last time rewatching it had been a couple years since I had seen it, but I was like, I think this is my third time watching this documentary, because it is a ride.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm so excited.
Okay, today I am talking about the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker. I want you to think of, like, you know, the SNL character that Bill Hader played, Stefan?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
With the
Think about
hand.
it. This documentary has everything. Hitchhiking, a mysterious drifter, a hatchet, news interview, death. Like, this documentary has so many things. So many things. Like, this is back in the 2010s. I think it was 2013. Yes. So 2013, if you remember online, what the online wilderness was like in 2013, this was the land of auto-tuned news interviews.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Prime
like,
internet.
Prime internet. This is hide your kids, hide your wife. The other one that, like, the other interviews that got, there's so many auto-tuned
Ain't nobody
everything.
got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. And then the double rainbow all the way across the sky. Yeah, yeah. So intense.
So funny.
This is like prime auto-tune interviews. Okay.
I love it.
So this story begins in Fresno, California in 2013. And basically a local news station runs what is like a quote unquote pretty typical story. There's a crazy incident on the highway. There was witnesses involved, and like everyone's talking to reporters. Okay. But they interview this hitchhiker named Kai. So before I tell you about the incident that happens, I need to describe Kai. He is exactly what you would picture like a surfer dude hitchhiker to look like. Long curly brown hair, wearing a bandana around his head, talks about peace and love. The first thing he does in his interview when they talk to him is he turns straight to the camera and he says, if you think you're not worth anything, if you think you're not, valuable, you deserve everything. Like, he was like very peace and love. And they're like, oh my God, this is actually like a really beautiful moment. Anyway, this man looks exactly like he sleeps in a forest and strums a guitar. Okay.
And he plays hacky sack for sure.
110% plays hacky sack. 100% plays hacky sack. And he's also holding a hatchet. Okay. So initially you're like, this could be a red flag.
What?
This should have been a red flag. I don't think in the interview at this point, because the hatchet was involved in this incident. And so it was taken from him at a certain point. So let me tell you the story of what happened.
Okay.
Kai explains that he accepts this ride from a man. And the man begins driving and starts ranting and raving about how he's Jesus. And
of course.
Like, he talks about how God tells him to kill people. Or like told him to kill people. For example, they're driving down the highway in Fresno. There's a bunch of city workers. And he says, basically, he was like he was racist and he was targeting a very specific group. And he ran into one of the workers who was a black man and pinned him between the utility vehicle and the car.
Oh my gosh.
And Kai's in the passenger seat like, whoa, oh my gosh, this guy's insane, da-da-da-da-da. Man gets out of the car to finish the job. Bystander woman who's like selling stuff on the side of the road comes to try to stop him. Man is holding bystander woman in like a chokehold. So then Kai comes up, has a hatchet because he's a hitchhiker, and he smashes the dude in the head with the hatchet. And the way, this is where the interview goes viral. He is interviewing with the news reporter, and he's telling the news reporter what happened. He's like, and I took my hatchet, man, and I go, smash, smash, smash. And that 3 smash, smash, smash is what went viral.
Wow.
But he used like the blunt side of the hatchet the first 2 times and then the sharp side the 3rd time. I know. That's the part that goes viral on this interview, is the smash, smash, smash. This whole thing, you start to realize just how culpable like the internet and the news actually, and like any producers actually are in turning things into like chaos, as we'll see throughout the rest of this documentary. Okay. But the internet loves Kai. Okay. And he's, you know, he doesn't say he's homeless. He says he's home free or something like that. Like everywhere he's always home. Like he's just like, yeah, everything's my home. But he obviously is hard to get in touch with, you know, doesn't really have anything. This clip goes viral, like viral. People start contacting the reporter. Hey, can you get in touch with Kai? Like we want to give Kai a reality show. We want to give him all this stuff. I'm serious, Becca.
What? That's all it took?
That's all it took. The producers of the Kardashians, Becca, are also like one of the like people who got the Kardashians off the ground is interviewed in this documentary, and she's like, he had that it factor. We wanted to give him a reality show. Jimmy Kimmel wanted to have him on. Like all the talk shows, there's people from all over the world reaching out to this reporter like, we want Kai, we want Kai. The reporter had an email address for Kai. So he emails him. He's like, hey man, where are you at? Can I meet with you just to chat? You're getting lots of offers. And Kai's like, I'm not really interested in that, but like, sure, we'll meet up. And they decide to meet up to do a follow-up interview. And they meet in Stockton, California. So still up north. They go and they do a second interview. And it is like even more apparent to the reporter and the camera crew that this guy is just like, he is off the rails, but he is kooky and he is funny and he is pure TV. And they interview him for a couple hours. They've got hours and hours of stuff with him, just like at a park, walking down the street. At one point, Kai has the thing as he's interviewing his other unhoused friends. And like, oh, so-and-so, you know, the other day a cop came in and attacked her and took all her stuff. That's not okay. He like teeters between being insane and kooky and then being like really meaningful and really spiritual and then fighting the good fight and then just being insane. They're like, oh, we want some B-roll. Let's go to this thing. And so he's like, oh, there's a guitar shop down the way. Like, I can play guitar. So they go in. I'm serious.
Sorry, keep going.
I know. So they go into the guitar shop and he's like playing the guitar. He's like, hey, this is a song I wrote. And he actually is talented. Like he actually wrote a good song. He can sing. And it's typical 2013 beach vibe dude on the acoustic guitar. So then they air this and people want more of Kai. And Kai's like, I'm not interested. I don't want any part of it.
Respect.
Right? He's just like, I don't really want to be famous. He just keeps hitchhiking. He's getting more and more famous, obviously. And so when he's out and about, people will take videos and post them online of like, I ran into the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker. Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker is here. Kai is here. Da 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 da. And he just lives off of the kindness of other people. Or like, you know, at a certain point, it gets to a point where he's like, hey man, like, yeah, I'll take pictures with you if you give me a beer. Or like, hey man, I'll take pictures of you if you give me a smoke, you know.
That's amazing.
Like that. Yes. But because he had no interest in being famous and no interest in being an influencer, that made the internet love him more and that made people want him more. So eventually the reporter gets Kai to agree to be on Jimmy Kimmel. He's like, okay, sure, I'll do this thing. I'll go to LA. So now we start talking to some of the producers of Jimmy Kimmel and they're like, we picked him up. He's a loose cannon. We're on the streets of Hollywood Boulevard. He keeps taking off running because he sees something interesting. He's like peeing on the side of buildings everywhere. He's like just insane. They go and check him into this hotel. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but it's like a very, very bougie hotel that like old Hollywood would stay in. Like Marilyn Monroe stayed in the hotel all the time. But they're like, we're going to check you into this hotel. They check him into the hotel. They have the first thing he sees is the mini bar, which isn't a mini bar because this is a bougie hotel. This is like full bottles of Jack, full bottles of everything. And he is just chugging. And they're like, okay, we can't do this. We have to get you interviewed by Jimmy. So they start to take him down, and he has this skateboard, and the inside of the hotel is like cobblestone. So he starts skateboarding around the hotel lobby, and the security guards are like, absolutely not. You can't do this here. You can't stay here. And so they kick him out. Yeah. And they're like, take all your stuff and leave. You can't stay. And so they are like on the streets of Hollywood again, trying to figure out what do we do? What do we do? Kai takes off.
He just books it.
he just like, he goes with the wind. He's not doing it on like, he's just like, there, you know, he's flighty, and he just takes off down the street on his skateboard. And they're like, oh my gosh. Eventually they get him to Jimmy Kimmel, and they're doing rehearsals. In the middle of rehearsals, Becca, the police come in and they're like, hey, we need to take you in for questioning because remember that like thing you did back in Fresno, like with the hatchet, like you're the only witness. You know, we've got 2 witnesses. It's you and that lady. And so we need you to come in for questioning because we never actually got a statement from you because you took off and no one's been able to find you until Jimmy Kimmel posted, Kai, the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker is going to be on our show tomorrow. So then the police said, bingo, we're going to go get him. So they pull him out in the middle of rehearsals and they're like, well, we don't know if he's coming back. We don't know anything. He does eventually make his way back, and he's on his way in. He's like taking another pee on a Jimmy Kimmel sign, gets in trouble with a security guard, and they're like, he's on the show, whatever. Jimmy Kimmel comes into his dressing room, gives him a handful of like $500 cash, takes a picture, and he's like, you know, here, like, we're excited to have you on, but we want to give you this on the side before we get on the show. Kai just goes, finds the security guard and just gives him the money, and he says, hey man, sorry for causing trouble earlier. Like, he just like giving stuff away. Like anytime he gets something, he gives it away. So it's like he has these moments, but he's also insane. Yeah. He goes on the show. He's so unpredictable. They have it set up. It's Jimmy and Kai sitting in a car. Like Jimmy has picked up Kai on the side of the road. And Kai, when he comes on stage, is just climbing on top of this car and get in. And he just is not very lucid. Like he's kind of crazy. But Jimmy's such a good, like, you know, he's so good at steering the conversation back. Because Kai starts going off on, Kai starts going off on like, oh, you know, like, fat rich white dudes, you know, they don't deserve to like be a part of anything. And Jimmy Kimmel's like, well, you are sitting right next to one, so what are you gonna do about that, you know, like, and then he starts talking about like the man that was sold to us as Jesus. Like he starts getting into all this other stuff, and Jimmy is very good at reeling it in, but you start seeing the cracks and like, okay, he's not,
maybe he shouldn't be on TV.
Maybe we shouldn't make him famous. And at that point, like the Kardashian thing was like, there's no way they'll be able to control him. He's not going to go to a donut shop at 5 a.m. and read a script of what you want him to say at this quote unquote reality show. Like there's no way in hell. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, all this stuff is happening. He's still very viral, still very popular. He is all over the place. No one can really get a hold of him. But we find out who Kai really is. Kai's real name is Caleb McGilvery. And they start talking to people in this documentary about people who knew Caleb growing up. And the story just gets darker. Okay. He had a very difficult upbringing. They do talk to his mom, but the way Kai tells the story and the way Kai's cousin tells the story is the mom was very problematic and like would lock him in the room and put blankets over the windows so that he couldn't see whether it was day or night. So he didn't complain if he wasn't outside playing. The cousin said at one point he got locked in the room with Kai because the mom just like couldn't handle it. He just, you know, had a really rough upbringing. And then I think at the age of like 13 or something, he gets turned over to basically a program for troubled teens. And like, that's it. And just lots of like family conflict, lots of instability, lots of periods of homelessness. They also mentioned that he sometimes had very violent outbursts. Like the cousin is
wow.
like, sometimes he would just turn into this thing that we didn't know what it was. And he would flip a switch and then he'd be right back to being kooky Kai. So then the documentary starts raising the question, like, did we just crown a random stranger as a hero? Because they're talking about him being, he saved the woman's life, he saved the other people's lives. Like, did we crown him as a hero without actually knowing anything about him? And like, spoiler alert, yes. You made a mistake, guys. Internet, we suck at this. Kai's life after the viral moment, after his 15 minutes fame kind of dies down a bit. It's just really chaotic. He starts getting like face tattoos and continues hitchhiking across the country. He starts kind of singing in bands, but it's not really working out. Like, people are really still trying to help him capitalize on it, but he just hasn't, there's no way to control him. And then the story takes a huge turn. A few months after the viral interview, there is a lawyer in New Jersey who was found murdered in his home.
Oh.
Like, people were like, he didn't show up for court one morning. We went to his home. He was laying in his bedroom in his underwear, blood everywhere.
Oh, no.
And so the police start looking into this, and the last video they have of this man is he is with Kai at the train station buying Kai a ticket for the train. And Kai gives him a hug. They put out a warrant for Kai's arrest. So it's all over the news. This man that we previously knew as the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker, he is now wanted for murder. So if you see him, please let us know.
Yikes.
They end up finding him, and they take him in, and Kai admits that he killed him. And it's a very interesting story. Basically, Kai is claiming self-defense.
Oh, interesting.
He's in New Jersey after like hitchhiking. He meets this man where I'm not really sure. I don't really remember how he said he meets this man, but he goes to this man's house, and like, Kai's posting on Facebook constantly during this period too. So he meets this man, goes to this man's house. He posts on Facebook at the day after he's at this man's house, talking about what would you do if you woke up, or like with your pants, basically saying that he was assaulted by this man. And like, the question is, what would you do? He posts that. He goes and to somewhere else, but then he goes back to this man's home the next day to stay again, because he needs a place to stay, and he knows he can stay at this man's home. And basically, he said, in the interview, he's like, oh, he insisted on serving me beer, not in the bottle, but in a glass, and he drugged me, and so I was awake enough that I killed him. And like, I can't remember how Kai says that he killed this man, but it's not adding up because there's blood in different places. There's basically, what they figure out happened is that Kai consistently stomped on this man's face.
Oh.
And not like pushed him off, knocked him off, kicked him, and then ran away. It's like, there's, pretty significant evidence that this was not self-defense. This was Kai probably having a manic episode. So then the entire documentary kind of becomes less about the internet fame and more about the complicated reality of like what this person's life is actually like.
Yeah.
The case goes to trial. Kai maintains that it's self-defense the whole time. Obviously, the jury does not agree because there is tons of evidence that says otherwise.
Yeah.
So he is ultimately convicted of murder. And he receives, I think it was like 57 years.
Oh my gosh.
Which is like such a shocking ending considering how the world first met him. Like, and this was, I think this was a 3-month period. This all happened.
Are you serious? What
This
the
was like
heck?
a 3-month period that all of this happened, that they first had this interview with him in Fresno to he is convicted of murder.
Wow.
So yeah, it's the documentary basically ends like by posing the question of like, why are we so quick to turn strangers into heroes? Like, we believe things on the internet so quickly. And also, what role does entertainment play in this, in the way that we turn strangers into heroes, and in the way that we don't know anything about somebody, but it's like, it's so funny because like at the end of the interview, they start playing the red flags that these people noticed. And they noticed so many red flags. It's like, I just assumed he was a hitchhiker, so of course he has a hatchet. But then if you really think about it, it didn't take him very much to use a hatchet on a stranger
Yeah.
and to be so proud of it. There's other
Yeah.
parts where like he's doing interviews talking about how he like beat someone up with his bare hands and like, you know, stomped on somebody else on the ground in the forest and like all this other stuff that's like the evidence was there all along.
Wow.
But for the sake of clicks, for the sake of views, and for the sake of money and entertainment, we turned a pretty sad person who needed a lot of help into something much more dark than that.
Crazy.
That is the Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker.
Oh,
Which I
my
still recommend
gosh.
you watch because you just can't, there's no way to really talk about how, like, what this man is really like unless you watch it. Like, there's no way to explain what he's like in just this period of time for the podcast here. It's a wild story, but, yeah, that's That's a Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker. He's still trying to appeal and get himself out of jail. Obviously, his appeals are denied constantly because they're like,
Yeah.
you're a danger to society. So,
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it. The end.
Wow. that is nuts. Because I remember seeing a video about Kai on the internet, and it was somebody. I think it was like in the middle of the street holding a sign or something, and somebody was like, "Oh, it's Kai, is whatever," and I was like, I don't understand what this is. And then like, obviously, you'd have to do much more of a deep dive to understand the whole thing of who he was.
Yeah.
And so I was, I'm not really interested, and so I moved on with my life. But like,
Wait, so
I
you
know
saw
what,
stuff? I never saw any of this stuff on the internet at that point.
Yeah, even recently I saw something about it, and I was like,
Really?
oh yeah, and I was just like, oh okay, well there's that video again, but I don't really care.
Well, now you know everything you need to know, but you should watch the documentary. It's on Netflix. It's been there forever. Like, it was one of their more popular documentaries. There's no way that's ever coming down off of Netflix.
Wow, that is nuts. That is crazy. What's blowing my mind is the fact that it was within 3 months.
Yes, it was like literally a very short period of time that this man had a very steep rise and steep fall.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Well, Becca, I am in need of a benefit.
Oh, do I have one?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Okay, so today's benefit. This one's fun.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know about you, but in my phone, I like to see colors and in like contacts, like the contact photos. If you're texting me, you have a photo. It drives me nuts to see the gray bubble or like with the initial. It absolutely not. I don't care if I'm getting a text from Chili's of like, oh hey, come visit us. Chili's
You
has
have a contact.
yes,
Chili's.
yes, it
so
drives
funny.
me nuts. I can't. The gray bubble, absolutely not. No.
So funny.
So, but another fun thing that I will do on my phone for texting is I will assign an emoji to each person, like that I will text a lot, like my family or really close friends. I'll put an emoji in their name, and the original reason for doing that was because I didn't have CarPlay when I like when you'd put your phone up like on the dash, like you'd for maps or whatever. So I would always like, use my phone for maps, and I was like, oh, when people are texting me, I don't know who's texting, is it the person I'm going to meet right now? That kind of thing. Anyway, and I'm like, but I'm driving and I also, want to be safe. Anyway, so the original reason why I did it was because I wanted to be able to see a color and know, oh, that person's texting me.
So funny, Becca.
So
I didn't know that's why you did that, but that's so smart.
That was the original reason. And then now I just do it because I love it, because it's so much more fun, because now I can like, if my phone is on the table, like away from me, again, I know who's texting me before I even looked at my phone. So like, I know if, like if there's no emoji, I'm like, who's that?
This is not a person I want to talk to.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Who's that? James, what was that?
What was that?
But no, it's so fun, and like I have the like, and it's just silly things. Like for my mom, I have a little dolphin because she really likes the beach. Jessica, I have a what do you call that?
Is it the crystal ball?
Yeah, the crystal ball.
That's what
I have a crystal ball. Let's see. For Allie, I have a
Allie's?
sunflower because that's her favorite flower. Anyway, so like there's just like so many different emojis that I have assigned to different people, and it is just one of the most fun things to go through your phone and be like, what emoji is this person? Like if this person was an emoji, what would they be? I'm going to assign it to their contact.
Do you have one for you on your contact card?
I don't. What emoji would I be?
Let me check. I'm like, let me look at the emojis right now too. Like, what emoji would Becca be? My initial instinct is to make you like a hard eyes emoji because of your heart sunnies that you wear.
Oh yeah.
So either like the hard eyes cat or the hard eyes emoji. Okay, I have two for you.
Okay.
The first one I think Becca is maybe the unicorn.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah, I don't know why.
that.
Like to me, I'm like, none of these other ones seem to fit like your like sparkle that you need. Like the unicorn feels like a thing that Becca, or the waffle. Because Becca loves a waffle, but also like the Leslie Knope of it all. Like
Yes.
the waffles. Yeah. It's waffles or unicorn for Becca.
That's I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, I was Leslie Knope for Halloween one year, and I literally made a waffle and like carried it around all night. And I also had a binder that said my best park ideas. And yes, I did carry around a fresh waffle and a binder all night in my suit. That it was so hot.
It was hot that Halloween too.
Anyway,
we gotta share that picture of you doing.
Yes.
Becca, Becca's great with Halloween costumes. But no, I love this idea of like, and I know you do it, and now Mom does it too with hers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I don't know why I haven't thought about doing that. Like every once in a while, I'll think, oh, I should add a picture to this person's contact. I don't like sharing my picture. Like, you know how you assign your picture to your contact card? Like, I don't do the thing to share the picture out because I'm like, what if I give my number to somebody and like I don't need them having my picture like and my full name? Like, no, you know. Anyways, but I love the idea of putting the emojis in with people's names.
Yes.
I've always loved that you do this, and I don't know why I never thought like I should do this. I was just like, oh, that's a Becca thing.
That's so funny. No, I love it. Like it just adds more whimsy to the everyday. And yeah, also it's like really easy to see like, oh, so and so's texting me. I don't have to like, you know, like really read who's texting me or whatever. Yeah. And there's no emoji. I'm literally like, who are you?
Why do you have my number?
Why are
you trying to contact me? Go away.
Exactly. It's like that TikTok sound like, who are you? I'm the owner of this house. Who are you?
Oh my gosh, that's so good. And remind me, I think you do it like between the first and the last name, right?
Yeah. So I do first name space emoji, and then like that's within the first name category, and then I do their last name. So then when it, shows up, it still shows up with the emoji in their first name. But I love it. And it's just so much fun. Like, 'cause, you just have all these colors popping up on your phone and like, and then when they use emojis, it's even more fun because there's more colors.
Becca's like, I like colors. Put more colors in your texting to me, please.
Yes, please use more emojis. Thank you.
I pry these emojis from my dead, cold millennial hands. You'll never
seriously.
take an emoji or a GIF from me, I swear.
Yes. Oh my gosh. But anyway,
that's such a good idea. I love that. I love the cute ways to add whimsy to our life. Who doesn't need more whimsy in today's day and age? My goodness, I swear. Give us more whimsy. Give us the emojis and the contacts, please.
Absolutely. I know. I'm like, why am I reserving? Like, you don't need to reserve an emoji in the contact name for a significant other.
No.
Like, Do it for your parents, your siblings, your friends. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, do it for and your significant other. I don't care, but like,
See, I never
do it
even
for
did a
everybody.
significant other, but that's so smart. Like, I don't know why I never thought to put emojis in a contact.
It's just so much more fun.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that.
And it's also kind of like you know, like when you buy a gift for someone, you're like thinking like, what do I know and like about this person?
yeah.
That's kind of also the train of thought that I go. I'm like, what do I know and like about this person? Like, or how do they make me
love that.
feel? You know, like
Aw.
what emoji? what emoji
emoji?
represents that?
I love that. Oh, that's so cute. I love this benefit. That's so fun.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the benefit.
Perfect MZ. MZ, my god, ending. What was that? Jess,
You
I
have a
can't.
stroke.
I am literally, I swear, like I can't speak today.
So funny.
Perfect MZ. Perfect way to end with some whimsy. That's what I was.
There
trying
we
to-
go.
This
Yeah,
is like,
there you go.
why say, what is it? Kevin's quote of like, why?
Why say lot word when few
You
words
do
say
trick.
yeah, do trick.
That's what my brain was like. Perfect MZ.
MC.
The end. Oh my gosh. Fun. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining us today. It was a wonderful little time.
That was such a fun listen. Like,
I hope so. I was like telling it and I'm like, oh, I hope this is actually interesting the way I'm telling it. But like,
no, that was like I was locked in. I am sat.
Okay. Perfect. Go watch it. Protect your chips from seagulls. Go watch Hatchet Wielding Hitchhiker and add some whimsy to your phone.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. Good advice all around.
Perfect. What a way to end with some MZ.
With some MZ.
All right. Well, make sure that you rate, comment, review, and subscribe and share the pod. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. That was fun.
Good time. All right. We love you.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Ditch the clocks and deadlines. Time is ours to define. In this world that's all mine, we let our spirit shine. Binging with benefits. Sisters watching flicks. It's the perfect